These are the WMEA audition excerpts, and we're now discussing Track 3, Saint-Saëns Sonata for Clarinet, Movement 1. I'm Shannon Scott, the clarinet professor at Washington State University. This is a beautiful work and is appropriate for an advanced high school player. The first thing we're going to talk about is what does piano mean in this situation. We need to play what's called a solo piano here, not Haydn piano. You are accompanied by the 88-key piano, and if you play what clarinetists can do, which is incredibly softly, you probably won't be heard. So this would be a solo piano. Now, this would be a piano that would not work in this situation. Okay, so please understand that piano in this case is a solo piano, not a piano where we hide in order not to cover up another instrument. The second thing I would like to tell you about is how to deal with the tenuto marks. So in this case, this is a tenuto, not a legato, because it's already under a slur. So we have a tenuto marks in measure 2 and measure 3, and then you see them again in measure 8 and measure 9, and once again in measure 20. So a tenuto means a little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress. And so the way to do this is you will crescendo slightly into the tenuto mark and then make a very slight diminuendo out of it. So that is how one handles a tenuto. And my teacher, Mr. Robert Marcellus, had a beautiful way of calling this. This was the appoggiatura phrase, that you phrase into the dissonance with a crescendo and you phrase out of it with a slight diminuendo. The next thing I'd like to tell you about are the dynamics and my suggestion that you use terraced dynamics to pace your crescendos and your diminuendos. So we have our first printed crescendo in measure 8. My suggestion is the pickup into 8 and the first 2 beats of 8, you stay piano. Although that, of course, is another one of those beautiful appoggiatura phrases. Then, at the end of measure 8, start at mezzo piano. And in beat 2 of measure 9, end at mezzo piano, not piano. The pickup into measure 10, start at mezzo piano and crescendo all the way to the mezzo forte in measure 11. That way you won't have done your crescendo too soon or too late. Please note in measure 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, the dynamic is mezzo forte. Don't make a diminuendo. If anything, you might make a little crescendo into measure 15. Because at that point you have an expressive accent. Now an expressive accent, again, is like kneading bread. Okay, it is not a sharp Sousa March accent. This is not an expressive accent that I'm going to demonstrate right now. No, that's not what the piece calls for. Again, you want an expressive accent that's going to take up most of the time that you have in the dotted quarter. Now, on beat 2 starts the diminuendo. Notice not beat 1. And again, I suggest that you use terracing. You're probably going to be at around forte on the downbeat of 15. Of course, an expressive, beautiful forte. So make a diminuendo up to perhaps mezzo forte on the high D. Then, starting at the end of measure 16, start at mezzo piano and make a diminuendo, arriving at a piano only on the third beat of measure 17. So when you see a diminuendo, that doesn't mean suddenly get softer. It means you're going to start to get softer. The last thing I'd like to tell you about is the ending. We are at piano, starting in measure 17, beat 3. Again, this is solo piano. If you do the hide piano, you'll be too soft and you will have nowhere to go once you get to the diminuendo in measure 21. In measure 21, please don't make the mistake of suddenly playing softer at a diminuendo marking. There's an old saying in the music business: when you see a diminuendo, play louder. When you see a crescendo, play softer. This is to remind you that diminuendo doesn't mean suddenly softer. So you're going to start measure 21 at piano. And since you need to make a diminuendo yet still be heard over the 88 key piano, you're not going to disappear. This is an example of what not to do. Don't disappear. I'm going to start at the pickup to 21. Okay, that's just too soft for this piece because this piece was written to be played with a piano. Now here's how we do this using solo piano and solo pianissimo.